I am very pleased to have here Agnes. I saw you recently got a new role, so I needed to look it up. Head Group AI and Digital Law. And I can imagine, because we're talking all about stress and resilience here, it's quite busy times for you nowadays because AI is all what it is. I'm very happy and pleased to have you here in the podcast to talk about how do you manage stress nowadays and how quiet is it in your head at the moment? So welcome.
Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you. I'm very pleased to be here. And I always love to support something that is good for a good cause, right? That hopefully spreads a little bit and gives other people some tools, self-help tools / inspiration. So yes, thank you as well. I just got my promotion a few weeks back, which of course makes me very
Congratulations.
proud. Thank you. And yes, it is a tough cookie, right? And it is a lot of work. Of course, as you can imagine, in the AI space, there's a lot of hype and there's a lot of experimental work, I would say. Everyone tries, everyone has an idea, everyone discovers. Therefore, yes, I have a lot to do from A to Z, starting with a simple like, can you assess this specific AI use case and tell me yes, no from a risk base, going into the implementation of AI regulations around the globe, right? And then last but not least, and actually the most crucial part, to make the mindset shift and / identity shift to all our legal colleagues who will work in, with, and out of AI solutions. They also need to get upgraded, and that's quite tough.
I can understand that AI is a sort of the buzzword nowadays. So, how do you distinguish between what is worth your efforts and what is not worth your effort? Because I imagine that focus is super important when every day new AI and tools are coming out, and you're responsible on a global level.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So that's it's coming information from all kind of directions. I can imagine. Having worked in a global environment myself, you get it from everywhere.
Exactly. That's correct. You get it from everywhere. Therefore, you can't do it yourself. I'm very thankful that I have a wonderful team of people supporting me on a day-to-day basis in the countries and on the global level, plus cross-functional collaboration with IT departments, with ethicists, right, with data scientists. Otherwise, that would not be manageable. So it all goes down again to actually teamwork instead of being the only lonely. Otherwise, it wouldn't be manageable.
I read in the Adecco workforce report, but just was published 2026, so it's very, very recent that human centered is really the key because we talk a lot about AI and we talk a lot about tools and everybody is learning. Organizations are giving their employees tools to learn and that goes better and better. But agility, how to remain agile between all these changes is one of the key things. How do you do that? How do you stay agile yourself?
Good question. First of all, actually, I was speaking about this last week on a webinar. For me personally, and that's where I see the legal department heading to within the Adecco group, it is, or let's say, an identity shift or a mindset shift is required, because only then you can remain as agile as you kind of must be nowadays, right? Business moves faster, everything gets accelerate faster. So there is no room for saying, oh, thank you for this contract. I'll come back in 6 or 7 days and tell you what I have amended. That's not working anymore. Also, this guardian of the temple, no attitude, that's also not working anymore. We are moving more and more into this space of becoming trusted legal business partners. Or even, I would even go so far saying business enablers with legal expertise, right? So the whole role is shifting right now. And you can only stay up to date, up to speed, and support actually other functions, internal clients like business, if you truly open up a little bit and adapt to the new AI space. And I'm telling you, that's not easy, right? Because to be a legal professional, it is quite a job with a little bit of prestige, right? You worked hard for it. It takes a lot of years of studies at university in the courthouse. And then AI is coming telling you, like, you may potentially be replaced. Or at least 50% of your tasks, 60% can be done by me, a little AI bot, right? So this is shifting. And here to prevent and to create new value and preserve your value, you need to be agile. So I think it's not even a question, it's a must. And the answer to it is live with AI tools, use them yourself, then you will be the future lawyer, right? If you don't use them yourself, you fall behind and your value on the market will be a little bit too low to survive.
Are there elements which are really needed to have this agility, to support this agility, to
Oh,
really
yes.
make it even more effective? What are those?
Very clear. I see it on a day-to-day basis, depending on which country I'm interacting it. So it's actually an attitude or a character profile, right? That goes with agility. People that are curious, that are open, and that are flexible. So these three key components are the ones that will actually enable the specific person to become even more agile in this space. Whereas people that tend to be, let's say, more on the conservative side, on having difficulties to go through change, and people that see change as a trigger and build up resistance immediately, for them it's getting way more difficult, but it's okay. Everything is okay, right? So we have built scenarios for those people and those people so that everyone in his own or her own pace gets there.
So you have specific trainings or education or programs for wherever the person is to guide them through this whole journey of change.
Yes, we can say so. So we have robust trainings. It's called AI literacy to upskill the legal profession so
Yeah.
that we have for everyone. Nevertheless, this, let's say, mindset identity shift part that we don't have on a training, that flies through collaboration, communication, a lot of open-minded discussions. That I think you can't train. That comes rather through experience, examples, and trust at the end, right? If people truly trust you and you tell them how it impacts them and what needs to be done, then it works, right? So that is rather by the word of mouth conveyed than via an online training.
It remains human in the end. The more AI, the more the other side is also definitely needed, the human part. We must not
Yes.
forget that we're humans, that we can connect, that we can talk, and
Oh,
only
yes.
then we will make things happen.
Oh, yes. And I truly believe, Sylvia, that it will even become more important in the future. I mean, look, if I'm looking into the crystal ball, I can even imagine things that in the future the coffee place that will advertise here real people serve, right? That's the coffee place where everyone wants to go. Let's hope it does not get so far. But I truly believe this right now is also an opportunity for deeper human connections, for reshaping and rebuilding human connections and what it truly means being a human. So there's always like this disruptive moment in our history, which led actually to humans getting more human, more compassionate, more caring about others. Maybe this is another one sooner or later, because at the end of the day, it can't be healthy and it can't be pleasant enough to just talk constantly to a chatbot. Even if you share with the chatbot your deepest fears, your deepest secrets, it's still at the end of the day a chatbot. And somehow you feel that this interaction is very convincing, very much pleasing you, but that there is this human touch missing somehow. And I hope that this is also sooner or later one enabler for people to talk more to each other and look into one another's eyes.
And do you do specific team things in your team to stimulate that? Specific activities, specific.
Not yet. Why? Because anyways, I mean, within our legal department, we are very close to each other. I'm talking about round about 370 lawyers, right,
Mhm.
around the globe. And for us, or I would say one of our core values is the strong communication and collaboration amongst us. One of the three fundamental pillars of a good corporation: communication, collaboration, strategy. So I would say we hit definitely the communication and collaboration piece very much, so that we are very well connected. We within the corporation do not feel this disconnect yet. I think this disconnect, you feel it as someone on the outside that consults ChatGPT or other chatbots for medical advice, for psychological advice, for whatsoever. So it's
Yeah.
not that disruptive amongst our legal community
Now
yet,
that
into brackets.
But now that you talk about asking the chatbots about your mental health was also mentioned in the workforce report. It was mentioned that certain groups in organizations are more vulnerable to get sick, and also that it's difficult to get back. And also that I think that what fascinates me quite a lot, which I evidently recognize, that there is a lot of saying about mental health, well-being, and also that corporations has a role in there, but that there is not a real clear strategy, a plan. That is more a nice word, a nice phrase on a scorecard or the KPIs, but that is not really a strategy behind to really support the employees and how to manage their mental health in a better way. Do you see the same?
Yes and no, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if I speak Agnes, the VP head group AI and digital law, I would say no, it's okay. The Adecco group is doing a lot. We have a well-being manager. We have Pilates classes. We had yoga classes in the past. We are supporting initiatives, marathons, things like that. So from this perspective, I would say yes, there is enough. But if I take this head off and I just put myself into my yoga teacher and meditation pants, so to speak, meditation teacher pants, then I would say, no, there is not enough, right? And why do I say it? It's not because the list of courses that we are providing is not huge enough, it's not large enough. No, that's not it. I just see people, and I truly see that many people are not centered and grounded, that somehow they stand next to themselves. I see it in the eyes, I see it in the behavior and the body language, I see the stress level, and we know what it leads to, not only to personal exhaustion, but also to worse decisions. So that I absolutely see if a person is speaking from a centered, grounded perspective, or if someone is just all over the place because the stress level is so high. So from this perspective, I would say, no, we don't have enough courses, or maybe we don't have the right courses.
Yeah, or the right support. I recognize evidently what you say, because it's also very difficult for individuals to acknowledge that maybe they suffer the chronic stress, the prolonged stress, pressure, and attention, and how to manage that. So, who would say no? I cannot manage it. We're also normally in a culture of we are able to manage. You
Yeah.
continue. So awareness at work and awareness in the person, that it's sometimes good to step down, because then you can even go further when you are more centered in a way. So I see indeed also a lot of trainings in my previous company as well. There were a lot of trainings and people could do everything, but if you don't really understand, or it doesn't really resonate, or you're not even knowing that you're not grounded, then it will not land.
Yes, fully agree. But what triggered me, what you were saying is, I mean, at the end of the day, it comes down to core values and the culture of and philosophy of a corporation. Because again, you can have endless trainings, endless communications, strategic communication campaigns. You can have all of that. But if you truly do not live it, and if really the senior leadership does not care about it, it will not fly. And then actually people end up to feel like, oh, I'm absolutely overloaded, but let's show them how resilient I am. No, you shouldn't, right? Okay, working more is better. I can only climb up the career ladder if I take on more work. No, that's not it. More responsibility, but not more work. So I think concepts get messed up. Yeah. And
Yes.
that's one of the problems that many people truly, I mean, work crazy hours and no one is stopping them because it's somehow silently accepted, right? And this is where it starts to go wrong. And then it starts to be like a monster and everyone lives it and everyone complains, but everyone works like crazy. And somehow it gets accepted by the manager. I mean, we don't need to talk about to what it leads if in particular highly qualified people or high achievers, very driven people, right,
Yes.
work too much. They are
Yes.
the ones that very, very late in this process realize that they are exhausted, right? And they truly believe they can take on more and more and more, right? They are super driven, but there is this switch that turns off very quickly then.
Yeah, when you encounter the switch, then then
Yeah.
it's basically too late. You pass by all the red flags a long time, long time. Yes, yes. So with the world looking at AI and everyday changes, let's talk about you as a person, Agnes. You work on a global scale with AI as flying around every second something new. How can you stay centered and grounded yourself? Are there, hey, you were talking about meditation, you were talking about yoga. Are those activities you're doing regularly? Or what do you do to stay grounded in a world which is moving very frequently and you have a global responsibility specifically on that topic?
I detach from the world very easily. And I really mean it, right? So what do I mean by that? Let's make it a
Yeah,
little bit
yeah.
more accessible and tangible. So what I mean, for me, it's very, very easy to zoom out of this via going into meditation, right? Prior tiny yoga session, right, to somehow get a mindset shift, and then going into silent meditation. That's my secret. And then I'm in my, let's say, secret garden and no one can touch me there. And of course, thoughts are flying in, business related thoughts, AI related thoughts. But I think I manage very well to gently get rid of these thoughts and to center myself again. Another tool is very classical affirmations in the morning before sunrise and in the evening. That also helps very much to understand again, who am I, where am I, what do I want, right? So to get perspective actually. And then classical one, going into the forest, right? I mean, the energy of the forest, right, that elevates so much. At least for me, it helps. That's another one. And if not that, I love to spend time in India with my guru and in my ashrams. And this is where I just get energy for the entire year. So, I mean, there's so much out there how everyone can preserve the secret space within oneself. It's endless. But these are my, let's say, tiny methods to remain grounded and to survive this jungle of AI and regulatory updates on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I mean. You say like, okay, this is what I do, and it's a classic. People know it, but it's very hard to really then implement it in a day-to-day life. So the things you are mentioning, and you said also something like affirmations before sunrise. So you're waking up also early?
Yes, very early. It's AM.
Oh, you're not even of the 5 a.m. club, you're the 4 a.m.
I'll
club.
be the one writing the book about the 4 a.m. club, right?
Evidently, I read the book, but you even beat that one.
Yeah.
Okay, can you bring me into in your day-to-day rituals to stay grounded? Yeah.
Yes, I mean, yes. And I mean, some of them are so powerful, and I wish or I hope that some people may experience a little bit here. So I wake up, I do my mantra prayers first.
You wake up with the alarm, or you wake up just without the alarm?
So it depends on when I go to bed, but
Yeah.
most of the time the alarm is needed. So, yeah. So I wake up with the alarm. I do my prayer session, right, from my Indian teacher in Vedanta philosophy. I do my mantras and then I do a little bit of thankfulness practice. That's the first thing, and that's very powerful and absolutely underestimated. It sounds for many people like something esoteric or something like whatever.
I know.
Just because you can't see it does not mean that it is as not or less powerful than the things that are visible. And I think when you get there, or as my teacher always says, the intelligent people know about this. And she worked for the United Nations in New York. It's a smart cookie. So I truly believe she knows. So thankfulness practice helps a lot. And then on purpose, after this, sending energy to 3 people that I dislike, where I had an argument. I mean, it can even be my dear mom, right? It does not need to be like a heavy enemy or a Darth Vader. No, it can be just someone, close, where I had an argument or something, sending out energy, good vibes energy. And that makes something with you, right? It just shifts something, right? So this is the practice. And then I go into my yoga session, just 20 minutes, meditation, just 20 minutes, breathing, just 20 minutes, take it easy. And then the day starts actually.
And then you go to then you do the normal things: breakfast, going to the shower, breakfast, office.
Yeah. There comes a bit of reading in between, like at least
Journaling?
20. Sometimes. I wish. I mean, it's also on the bucket list, but hey, less is more in this sense. I don't get there. So I'm happy when I read like 5 pages of one of my books and then that's it. But in particular, and that's like a really precious advice, don't read in the morning the books that are related to your business. Just go for something off track. I mean, that is for me like something that elevates me when I read books about other gurus, or I read books about like crazy people, or sometimes even kids books. That helps a lot. I love that. So it just brings me in a different space.
And you read one book at a time, or you read 10 books at the same moment?
10 books at the same moment. Yes, I have to confess, not proud about this. And it leads to nothing. We know that. So it's a good actually experiment to tell you that it leads to nothing. It's a bad example. Go one by one. I guess it's better.
I don't know. I was just curious. And coming back to the thankfulness, because you say it's super powerful. Why is it so super powerful? Because I've heard also many times, like you don't see it, but the Wi-Fi, you also don't see it, but we connect all to it. So there is something in things which you
Mhm.
don't see, but you feel connected. So what is exactly the being thankful and the thankful exercise? What does it give you?
It's like AI, input, output. So actually, your input, if you go for thankfulness, thank you for waking up, thank you for this nice weather, thank you for my family. So when you do that, like when you list at least 10 things you are thankful for, at least after the seventh or the eighth one, something happens in your thought pattern. It happens in your mind. The thought connects to your emotion, to your feeling, and that you feel. Because the thought itself, you don't feel it, but it's the feeling and the emotion behind this thought that makes a difference and sends out a certain energy. And that's what you feel. Maybe in the beginning on a subconscious level, unconsciously, okay, that can happen. But if you do it more and more often, you feel it. So sometimes when I wake up with a bad mood, I did not sleep so much, or things at work did not go well, and that happens quite often, then I prompt myself. And the output is this energy that flies out, and I'm realizing like, okay, things are not ideal then. There is no magic. It's not David Copperfield, but at least I feel a bit lighter after this tiny, tiny practice.
And then you enter the office in a different state.
Yes, or sometimes even in the same state. But I truly believe that, again, something shifts inside myself and my perspective slightly changes through a different energy frequency level.
And how long are you doing this?
You mean in years or every
No,
morning?
basically every morning, but then also how in years. Yes, it's the same.
Every morning it's like 2, 3 minutes. It's in the
Okay.
dark on the balcony. No one can see me when I kick this off. But yeah, it's just short, right? So no one can say, I have no time, talking of integration into a daily routine. So here also I can share with my very, very wise guru. He says 2 minutes of meditation is better than no meditation,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
3 minutes of breathing exercise are better than no breathing exercise. 1 minute of thankfulness in the bus on the way to the office is better than no exercise. So everyone can do it. It's just a matter of, I don't even like to say discipline because it sounds scary to me. Everyone needs to be disciplined. It's cool. It's fashionable. It's strong. It's the opposite of weak. I disagree. I rather think it's a pattern, repetition pattern. Establish a repetition pattern so that it comes like on autopilot.
The consistency and training it is learning
Yes,
a new skill. On the other hand,
yes.
also, if you've never done it, I'm always looking for those tools which people can implement in their day-to-day life. No, not that you need to go away to a nice place and feel relaxed, or not that you need to go to the yoga studio, but that you really can implement on a day-to-day life to see the changes. Because
Yeah.
if you enter the office in a calmer state of mind, at least for the first couple of hours, you can manage everything which is around you getting out of hand, which I imagine this is your
Mm.
job. You can manage it better.
Yes. Yes. Because you manage from a different place of stability, of centeredness, groundedness. I don't know how to say, but you manage from a different place, from
Yeah,
a
I call
more
it
calmer
grounded
place.
grounded leadership. Huh? That's how I would frame
Maybe
it,
that's it.
because you're
Mm.
really grounded, and then are also more agile and more flexible and more open and more curious to manage whatever comes around you.
Yes. Yeah, I think you are nailing it. It's exactly what you are saying, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
And
how
it
many
does not
years?
mean,
Was there a reason that you started to do this?
look, I started doing this, I think, 12 or 13 years ago.
Hmm.
Um, No, there was no reason. I just entered a fitness studio and there was like a yoga class. I'm like, let's see what that is. No clue. And then there
Yeah.
was the turtle, the dolphin, the sun salutation, downward facing dog. I'm like, that's all crazy. I don't understand. I just went to the yoga teacher and I asked her some questions. She answered. Next day I came back. I did a yoga class and then I came again with a lot of questions. And she said, you know what? You are a little bit annoying because you ask too many questions. Why don't you get a yoga teacher yourself? I'm like, really? Can I? She's like, yeah, why don't you do it? Then you get all the answers to your questions. That's how it happened.
That's how your journey in this route started. And then you were already working in corporations or in
Yes.
Adecco. Yeah.
Yes, in
Yeah.
Adecco
Yeah.
Germany
Yeah.
at that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. If you really practice holistic yoga, then the part on the mat, hatha yoga, that's 20% of the practice, right? 80% goes beyond the mat. It goes into mindset mastery. It goes into karma yoga, giving without wanting to receive back. It goes into rituals and worshipping of yourself, of others, and so on and so forth, right? There is a vast space of things that is also yoga, which usually us in the Western sphere, we don't know because for us it's usually the mat and yoga pants, which it is not fully.
Not fully. It's a part. If
Yes.
that's the only part, then you're missing a big important part of the yoga, indeed. Yeah. And you never stop since then.
Yes, that's true. Since
Nice.
then, I mean, the journey embarked.
The journey, yeah, also that, but also your career. So maybe it goes hand in hand there.
Yes. I think the yoga, or I mean, when I talk yoga, I'm not talking about hatha yoga, the holistic picture rather, and Vedanta philosophy. For me, business without spirituality, that does not work. I mean, and I think I wouldn't be there without this spiritual angle. And again, here, spirituality for me means to be centered to inside myself, to myself. Really, that is spirituality. It's not like pseudoscience or esoterics or whatever, what people truly believe very often. So there is this misconception. Spirituality just means connected to oneself on a deep, deep, deep level that allows you not to run to the left and to the right just because something goes wrong. You are kind of detached from the external factors. Yes, I truly believe I'm here because I practice a lot of inner work, let's say. And actually, I don't know if you know Jim Rohn. And
Yes.
Jim, yeah, I mean, that's my godfather, kind of, right? This person, so he's an extremely good motivational speaker, self-help speaker, let's say. He's not alive anymore, but this guy said something. He said, work harder on yourself than on your career. And I would add to it, work harder on yourself than on your career to become better in your career, right? Because I truly believe if you go more into the inside space and try to go into self-mastery, inner growth, self-development, that helps you on the outside. It's something that is not tangible, but people can feel it. It's something around you that makes you somehow different, that allows you to speak from a different space, to act differently, to come across differently.
And also dare to speak up because you feel so connected to yourself that you dare to share your opinion, that you dare to make decisions, that you dare to stand up.
Yes. And even that you dare to lose your job if it's time, right? I mean, it's okay. I mean, I just got my position. I will not lose my job now. But, I see many people also the way they work from a place of fear of losing the job. If things shift, if the economy does not run well, then it's the first question, what happens to my position? There is another transformation. Oh gosh, right now for lawyers, right? I mean, every legal department gets transformed. There is this huge question, will lawyers will still be needed in 2, 3, 4 years time, or will AI replace lawyers completely? So there is this underlying fear, which is truly there. And here you can definitely see the people that truly have difficulties with this fear or to manage this fear, and others who potentially worked a little bit more on themselves or are a bit more within themselves, they can manage better, I truly believe. But, I don't want only to break it down to who is grounded, who isn't grounded, because, I mean, people maybe with families, if there is one person that earns the salary and the other person stays at home with the kids, I mean, it comes with completely different responsibilities, right? And not only groundedness or centeredness helps. Let's
No,
be clear.
that's true and it's correct. And I read also in the report that salary, so because of there is so much restructuring, reorganization, that salary becomes again the first driver of why people want to remain in a company or stay in the company. While it was differently in the previous years, it was not number one. But now that becomes, because of there is so much instability, the salary gives stability, followed by work-life balance. I was a little bit surprised that salary is again back, but it's maybe also because, like you said, there is a lot of fear. Is my job going to exist in the couple of weeks, months, years? And nobody has an answer to that. So this fear hangs around anyhow. So then
Mhm.
the only thing you can influence things, but you cannot, some things are too big to be influenced by you. So what you can influence is you, how you react, how stable you are, how you work on yourself, how you stand up, how you go to bed. It's all how you react on things. So that's all under your own influences. That's why we have also this podcast and this conversation, because is why I hope that stimulate people to think about their own responsibilities and their own actions they can take to find this stability from within.
Nicely said. True.
And when you are stressed, let's talk about stress. I can imagine you're very centered and you know you have all your tools, but there must be sometimes that you get stressed. How does it look like for you? How does it show? How do you know that, like, here I'm off track?
Often I freeze. When I'm stressed, I freeze, meaning like, I don't know, I start to freeze a little bit and to procrastinate, right? So that's my pattern that I have discovered, that I
Uh-huh.
fall into this pattern when I get a work overload. When I see like, hey, I mean, it's today 61 emails I can't manage. That's just not doable. I get myself usually out of it. I mean, same what I did when I was studying law. I just leave the pencil at the table and I just go out and I just walk. I walk, ideally in the forest, in the nature, somehow. And of course, the mind, the first 30 minutes, it goes around work, right? My heart is beating. I feel it, right? I need more air. And then I just walk, walk, walk. And the forest does what the forest wants to do, but it usually helps. And then my breathing becomes more normal, stabilized, and then I just go back, and I mean, there's no rocket science. I just come back. I still see like the huge chunks of work, but I just say to myself, okay, step by step, full stop, one brick at the time, and then the other one, right? Otherwise, yeah. Other than that, from a business perspective, I mean, eat that frog, right? That's another amazing, let's say, business coach, Brian Tracy. I think Brian is still alive, right? So he
Yes.
said, like, eat that frog, right? Do the most ugly things in the morning, and then take it easier. So that's what I'm doing. I'm eating the frog. I try to eat the frog every morning. And if there are too many frogs, I just live with not managing expectations of others because it's not manageable. But I would say the most important part is the communication part. If I reach out to others saying like, look, I will not meet your expectations, XYZ is not working, and here there will be another delay, right? Usually people understand and appreciate very much when you just reach out and tell them.
There are different kind of, going back to your freeze, there are different kind of stress reactions, and freeze indeed is one of them. And what you need to do that from your nervous system regulation is activation, because you're stopped. So walking or whatever, or jumping or movement is definitely the way to go. I don't know if you know, but I guide people also in ice baths. And the cold is such a stressor. And there you see clearly you would then stop to breathe for a moment. You would freeze because of the shock. So then if freezing is in day-to-day life your normal stress reaction, you would have the same reaction in the ice bath. And normally people are not aware about their automatic stress reactions. So what's happening in the ice bath, they start to look at their own environment with different eyes to see, is that how I reacted there? Is it also how I do normally at home or in the office? And it's a mirror. So if you say, this is my stress reaction, you would do the same in ice bath. And then I would say, Agnes, breathe. And then you go, okay, I need to breathe, because you need to move, you need to do something. And that will make you go. Like you found your solution for yourself to activate yourself in walking, dancing, or jumping, whatever. But it's movement what you need to get out of the freeze. So it's really good to hear that you found already that the solution in a way, but it's also explainable from a nervous system regulation. Yeah.
That's interesting. That's super interesting because I did ice bathing here in the Zurich Lake.
Yes.
2 years back for one whole season. And you're absolutely right. I mean, the moment I went in, I was like, couldn't get air. And then I somehow tranquilized myself through an old woman that is around 93. And she does it every morning in the Lake Zurich. And she told me like, just look at the mountain and they will calm you. Seriously. That's what we are doing. Well, that's what I did at the time. It helps. Yeah.
Continue breathing, slowly. Don't stop breathing. It's quite courageous. You just step into Zurich Lake and see what happens, by the way.
Yes, I realized later as well, right? So, yeah, maybe it was not the smartest idea.
You can only learn by doing things. No?
Exactly.
But you're not doing it anymore now?
This season I did not do it, but next season I would like to restart again.
Okay,
I will join your retreat and we'll go for some ice bathing experience.
I also go in the sea every week, but I'm in Spain, so it's not so cold. So Zurich is evidently way colder. Yeah. And there are here also sea swimmers, and I explained them also how they need to breathe when they enter the sea. So it helped them a lot. So they did, but also with all kind of difficulties. I say it doesn't need to be so hard. Just prepare yourself a little bit better for it instead of only on, I need to do this, I need to be able. Just relax a little bit in it. And when you're relaxed in it, it will go. Yeah.
Yes. And you know what, Sylvia? I now remember the nicest ice bath I had in Lake Zurich was in January, again, 2-3 years back. And it was snowing. It was snowing and it was dark. It was 4 p.m. It was dark already. It was a bad day. Temperature wise and weather wise. And somehow with inside me said like, come on, do it now. Just do it now. And why? Because it's the same as inner practice, right? Regardless the outer circumstances, remain stable and go for it, right? And I did it, and that was actually the nicest experience. And it was not forced, and it was not led by, I can do it, I'm so strong. No. That was not the outset, right? I came from a different place, right? And I just did it, whereas everyone else was cozy at home, having the fireplace on, nice music, winter collection, right? And I just went to the lake in my bikini, having a little hat right on, and I was swimming while it was snowing. And this experience was the best one. Since then, I was never as calm in the water as this time. It somehow shifted because I felt inside myself so proud that I conquered this snow sensation in such a calm and relaxed way, right? And it just gave me so much strength for future topics at work, in private life, that I'm always going back to this, surprisingly.
Yeah, it's how I translate in all the leadership retreats or talks I do, the added value of the cold. It's not about the cool picture or that we're doing it. It's overstepping a sort of fear, overstepping of a not knowing, doing something which others might think, is this okay? But you feel that you would like to try and you are able to manage. And you are able to manage because you get control of your breath. And when you dare to be relaxed in that,
Yeah.
then it becomes that's difficult, but it is manageable and you can train that. But it's I said to the people, the decision to do it, you already take before you step in. It's the same when you go in the sea. You already center yourself with your mindset. You take it before. So when you do it, you go. There is no way back because you already have decided and you can translate that. Also with many situations in business. That's why I like to work with the natural elements and translate that because of my corporate background, translate them, the value which it all brings into a business environment. It's not separate worlds because the moment you step in situations which is giving you fear, which is challenging for you, but you feel you took the decision that you want to do it and you tackle and you can control it. If you learn how to do that in an ice but you know how to do that in any kind of situation because it works the same. It's,
Yes.
it's the same stressors, it's the same pressure, it's the same fear of, oh, can I do this? But you do and you manage. That's why it's so nice to work and you really can translate this. It is really like, oh yeah, if I can do this, then maybe I can also do that. Yes, you can. And then you can prepare yourself for it. So that's how I work myself with all the natural tools and elements.
Nice.
Yeah, to increase resilience, but also to let people feel really from within what a kind of, what mindset is and what your own body can communicate. Yes.
That's really cool because you are actually the bridge person between the corporate world, let's say, or so to speak, and the well-being place. Because I think this, I mean, this is how I understand that. And this is very, very much needed because in particular, people in corporates are getting more and more stressed. But as we see and speak about, they don't know the tools how to unwind themselves. And actually, I truly believe, accept these tools more from people that worked in their environment because they feel more, no, they feel understood more or less.
Yes.
And here I can tell you, I will never forget once I gave some yoga classes after work to some Accenture people, right? So it was another yoga friend. She was calling me like, oh, can you replace me? I'm sick. Can you go there and do some yoga classes? I'm like, okay, let's do it. So I did it. I mean, that's 10 years back, but it was like for Accenture, a male group. And surprisingly, it went really, really well. And they asked me if I could step in forever instead of my friend. And of course, I did not do that. But the thing is, I asked them, like, what is it? Why? And they said, because you speak our language, because you also work at corporate. And we believe you feel and understand us better. And that's why I think this work is very, very important to actually help corporate people in unwind in a way that they also feel understood.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm doing. So in a way, I was. Thank you, thank you for that. That's why I was not happy, but I was happy. You know, when I read in the workforce reports from Adecco that well-being and health is still a sort of like it needs to step up. It needs more professionalism. Needs more activities, strategies, in many companies because it's just completely lacking. And I see clearly that I have a role there because I speak the language of the corporates and I also understand the value of all these natural approaches, which reinforces for your groundness. And I, as a person, as a very stressed manager myself in the past, I didn't have time for nothing. I thought also it was fluffy and I thought it was maybe not so that I was wasting my time and I could be more productive in just rushing and continuing. So I know all the argumentations. I had them the same. And so it's totally not normal that people feel like that. And once you understand and feel, I said, when you really feel the added value of it and you feel that your body can feel differently, then you want to feel more of that.
Yes, that's true.
And then you're going to look for situations in the office, at work, going to the office to implement it. The things you said, you can do it when you're on the bicycle or in the car to the office.
Yeah. Or just, that just happens like I think 3 weeks back. I was with a vendor on a call, via Teams call. So I
Yeah.
could see the lady, she could see me. We were discussing this another AI solution. And then at the end of the call, I mean, you could notice like I liked her, she liked me. So we closed the business part very quickly. And then it was like, hey, and what else? Da, 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 da. And then actually she said like, oh gosh, and it was not even 9 a.m. It was 8:30. And she's like, oh gosh, I'm already so stressed. And the working day has not even started. I'm like, okay. And I just said it. I'm like, do you want a short meditation? I mean, she looked at me like, what's this? Because 10 minutes ago, we were talking about the risk of a specific AI solution. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, yes, look, if you want, we can just go into a short meditation, 5 minutes. And we did it. So it all started with her feet flat on the ground. If you wear heels, remove the heels, put your feet on the ground. I just guided her through all her body and through the morning routine. Like, what was the first thing you were doing when you woke up? What did you do then? Who was the first person you saw? What were your first words? 5 minutes. That was a little game changer, right? Again, was that a miracle? No, of course not. But that's why the repetition is so important. If you do it on a day-to-day basis, then you see like actually the big changes. But it helped, and not only her, also me, right? I was guiding this tiny meditation, but it also helped me to calm down my system before work really kicked off.
You mentioned interesting things about the heels. I worked a period in Italy and I was always wearing high heels. And now I was thinking, how can you be grounded when
Yeah.
you're always wearing high heels? It's very unstable. What's your perspective on that one?
Let's say this is things that someone was teaching me. So very simple in your hands, in your whole body, but in particular in your hands and in your feet, you have little energy centers, right? In India, we say chakras, right? In China or Japan, it's chi or whatever. So you have energy centers, and this energy center in your feet allows you to always stay connected. If you stay connected with the ground, you feel secure. It gives you security, stability. If you wear heels, you are flying constantly. I don't know if you know Ayurveda. They are like 3 types, right?
Yes.
Kapha, Pitta, Vata, right? And if you are this heel person, you are Vata, which means you are constantly in your head. You are flying and you are everywhere, but nowhere at the end, right? That's it. And I truly believe this. I mean, I have experienced it myself as you. I was wearing heels for many years. COVID changed everything somehow. After COVID, there are only sneakers and some maybe nicer shoes for special events and occasions. But I mean, that makes a difference. Not mean that it's there, right? And so this is science. This you can measure even, right? This Einstein could tell you, and nowadays it's Dr. Joe Dispenza who could tell you the same. Right? Yeah, that's the, I would say, science behind heels, wearing them or not wearing them.
So you're off with heels.
Most of the time, yes.
So did you have any, therefore I was asking, did something happen when you became interested in yoga? Or when people start to change life? Always there's a sort of like turning point, something that happened. But it looks like for you, you were just interested in yoga. Or did you have a moment in your life that happened when you said, now I want to inform myself also better about the techniques you're all implementing?
I must confess, I'm super boring here. So there was not like a super painful moment. There was not anything like I was broke or I got through a divorce or I was close to committing suicide. Nothing, right? So it's unfortunately not so spectacular. It was just curiosity. No, I dare to say it was a calling because yoga, in the way I define it, for me, it's not a lifestyle, it's me. I am yoga and yoga is me. So it goes beyond lifestyle. It's just truly me. So the way it embarked, the way it is now, there is no separation. It's more than a lifestyle. There was no special moment. I think there was a deeper seeking, calling without realizing it, because it was like 13, 14 years back. So it was just like, yeah.
That's good to know, because I have talked to many people and they had all these turning points in their
I
lives.
know.
One of the questions was, why aren't people implementing it while nothing is happening? So, ta-da, now I found you.
Yes, 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 yes.
It was a curiosity, it was a calling, and you got more interested and curious based, and it never stops learning and implementing, because
Yes.
it goes. That is the richness of being open to see and feel what is all happening from within, because it's even richer than AI. It is, we're looking so much externally that we forget what all the beautiful things are, which we have inside of us.
100%. And the best about it is that in a corporate world, we often leave our hearts at home and just go in with a clear, fresh mind to be super productive. Actually, then often we end up being busy but not productive. But actually, that's how we go in. And this, let's say, inner practice, inner work, self-development, self-help work, it helps you to get out of your mind, because it's something that you have to experience. It's something that wants to be felt. And that's the beauty. It's something that wants to be felt. And that is super important nowadays, where we work 130, 40% with our heads, right? With our brains. So it's so amazing just to get out of the brain and go into, let's say, the heart room, right? Or the Anahata chakra, heart chakra, and to just explore how it feels to do a conscious walk through the forest, how it feels to lay on the floor and feel actually your palms on the floor or the back of your head or whatsoever, or how it feels when cold air is going into your nostrils and warm air is going out. So it's all about feeling, and already this fact that you do not need to think, that reduces stress. I strongly believe.
Yeah, you're in corporate and you bring that experience within everything you do. But you also know, like I also know, that not many people are doing that. What is an entrance to spread this more into corporate? That you sometimes don't need to be productive and busy, but that slowing down at times lead to better decisions, quicker decisions, less mistakes, less sick leave. What is needed to change that from your perspective?
Strategic communication, not communication, strategic communication would be the first step. I think you can hook people with the message that if you do X, Y, Z, then you will be more productive. Then you will reach your KPIs faster, because you need to get the people where they are. So I can't think from my space. I need to put myself in their shoes. And they are driven by challenges, by competition, by drive, by being self-motivated, super proactive, and so on and so forth. Huh? Faster, quicker, better, whatsoever. So this is where you need to get them. And that's just an idea I'm thinking about right now. Maybe the key is here to start with strategic communication in terms of, look, I give you some tiny techniques where you will believe you actually slow down and you waste your time on these techniques. But I promise you, you will become a bit more productive if you practice regularly. So kind of tricking people into it for a good cause. It's like a little white lie to get people into it. And the deeper the person goes into it, the more you can reveal the beauty of it and the truth around all these techniques, right? But the first step, most important, is to get them where they are and to act from this space and not from your personal space and where you stand.
Yes. It's also what's said in the report to really come with a strategy in more about general than the well-being and really supporting people in a busier and more rational workspace.
But you know what, Sylvia, I don't know. I mean, yes, I read the report. I also read other reports, and I'm just wondering, whether the cooperation is not there yet or the people, because I would go so far saying that people are desperate for help. For help in the sense of give me some tools how I can reduce stress, give me some tools how I can manage my time better, give me some tools how I can solve conflicts more efficiently. So I think the demand is very high, and maybe corporations are lacking behind and can't follow up on the request so quickly.
I think because all the budgets goes to AI. So that we come
Yes.
back in, that's where all the attention goes and flows. So this is a nice to have,
Yeah.
it's needed, it's required, but priorities is different at the moment. It's
It's always
priority
a
shift.
balancing act. It's always a
Yes.
balancing act between being one of the early adopters and serving people. But I must admit, we are a people company, so our assets are people, if you want so. We are people business, right? We don't have vehicles or whatever other goods. And in this space, I must admit that Adecco is doing really great. And the strengths of Adecco, in my opinion, as I was also working in the banking sector, capital and banking law, I can tell you that I think the strengths of Adecco are the people, the kindness people approach each other, and yeah, the kindness people work together. That's, in my opinion, outstanding, because here, at least in Adecco, most of the people come to work with their hearts. It even goes so far that sometimes our presidents or senior leadership says, there is so much emotions in this company, right? But that's amazing.
That's very good. That's very good, especially when you are in an environment also with fear. Where are we with our job, our roles, what's going on? So at least that then this human connection remains centered as a key for also future development. Yes.
Mhm.
I am quickly looking at my questions. What is giving you stress?
Not manageable workload. So that's a fact, not
Yeah.
manageable workload. But then on the other hand is also, it stresses me that I think about it constantly. So it's, I mean, on the outer space, it's the fact, the not manageable workload, but on the inner space, this, what do I need to do next? How do I prioritize? What is P1? What is P2? What is P3? Right? So it's just this inner, monkey that then wakes up, that causes stress. And here I must admit, I mean, I practiced for such a long time, but I'm only human, right? So I also fall very often into these traps. I think what this practice allows me to do is to get quicker out of it, or to realize way quicker
That
that
you're
I'm
in
right now in this
this
wheel.
loop. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And what do you do then?
Well, first I realize, and then I think it always goes back to this, okay, I just shut down the laptop, or I need to leave the desk and I just need to walk around. Sometimes, of course, it's not possible. Just take the high heels off, put my feet on the ground, and just close my eyes in the office and just breathe for 3-4 minutes with closed eyes. Hands are on my knees, done. That helps usually. So again, it's tiny techniques that help immediately. In particular, the breathing exercises, right? That's very efficient and no one is noticing.
This is what I
That's
like
the
about
nice
it
thing.
too. Yeah, 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 yeah. Nobody noticed while you are managing, co-regulate your whole nervous system to get back on track. Many people, you've said it yourself also, don't even realize that sometimes that they're in this loop. It's just a constant loop.
Yeah.
So becoming aware is the first thing, and then act to it. Evidently, so I'm happy that you are at least aware of it nowadays.
Sometimes. Yeah.
Okay.
There's room for improvement, definitely.
When was the last time you truly felt relaxed and why?
Yes. The last time I truly felt relaxed was in my ashram in India. Truly, truly, truly deep relaxed. It was in March last year. I have to confess, it was when I was also detached from the location I'm in. So that also usually helps me. People say your brain travels with you, your mind comes with you wherever you are. But for me, somehow my mind stays in Switzerland and I just travel, and that helps me to be in a completely different environment. And why? Yes, because first of all, I changed the location, but secondly, because I was surrounded by people that live simplicity, for 30, 40, 50 years. I mean, it was a group of monks that I lived with for 2 weeks. And that was a game changer because you can bath in this energy and you can take a bath in this energy and you nourish yourself from this simplicity, which is, it's not exciting. It's just a state of simple being without any excitement, but you somehow jump into it if you want, or if you don't want, it just happens. And yeah.
It is great to be. Then you are confronted with yourself. And if you like what you feel and see, it's good. If you don't, there's work to do. So that's the nice thing of being with yourself. And my last question for now, which advice would you wanted to give your 20 years old younger Agnes, if there is an advice, your younger self?
Seriously, all is good. I mean, seriously, the advice is just keep going. So I do not have ready any special wisdom I can shine with. No, it's just keep going. And yes, actually be brave. Or as we say in Germany, the world belongs to the brave ones. So yeah, this is actually the only statement, because I truly believe you can do everything you want. You just need to have the courage. And very often in my past, right, I was not daring doing something, right? So that, I mean, starting to dare, starting to step up and claim your space in a gentle way, right? I'm not like this rebellious claim your space. It's just like in a nice way, just claim your place and go for it, right? I think that's it.
Let's also connect back, if you realize it, to your automatic stress reaction of freeze. If you
Mm-hmm.
freeze, you're
Mm-hmm.
invisible.
Mm-hmm.
You don't
Yes.
do, you don't do, you don't dare. So you freeze, you withdraw, you get back.
Yes.
So it's
Sylvia, thank you. This is now my enlightenment moment here.
it's a connect. That's what I do. So it's
Yes,
it's
that's
it's
true.
relate is related. You said being more brave, stepping up. That's what I was thinking. Because if
Yes.
you freeze, you cannot step up.
Yes.
So it's learning to step up and be brave. Thank you for that one.
Thank you, Sylvia. It was a real pleasure discussing with you and also getting to know you and what you do and how you actually help corporate people to make their lives simpler through simple techniques, right? To relax a bit more and at the end of the day, to then again become way more productive, refreshed, and energized at work.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better. Thank you for that one.